Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's March 19th, 2025. Wake up, everybody, with Brother Phil, Brotha Amir. Brother Phil, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got something heavy on your heart you want to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different ways we can go, but I'm going to let you start it off, brother.
All right. Well, what I want to do, like we always do, like to bring up a book or two.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book that I picked up, let me see, a couple months ago, called "The Devil You Know" by this brother Charles Blow. You see him on CNN from time to time, but good brother. And he got this book called "The Devil You Know," and what he's talking about is the solution, remedy for our community to come together. And the way he lays it out is, he said, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South North Carolina, and I believe Texas. You have that's the largest populations of American blacks.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we know with the stuff you see in politics going on right now, we're the minority. The numbers that I checked says that we're 15% of the total U.S. population.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So those areas that I just mentioned were the majority, and you can fact check it by going on Department of Labor Statistics. They'll give you the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But what I like about the book, and I like about what my man lays out, he's saying if we become the majority by moving back to these states in mass, you now get to vote your own senators in. You don't got to fight with other people, right? Because you now are the majority.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying is if we come together and unify, this is achievable.
Mm-hmm.
First, us, because we see what's going on right now, right? This guy basically took over,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got the backing. He has control of the White House, he has control of the Senate, he has control of the Congress, and control of the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
So he's showing me if you got the power, you can do what you want to do.
The blueprint.
Everybody else be damned.
Yeah, he got the blueprint.
You understand what I'm saying? So for me, this book, and as you said, something heavy on my heart, I just love it, and it's telling us what to do, right? It says, "The Devil You Know, a Black Power Manifesto." You know, and there's a couple of quotes in here before we get into this discussion. Anybody that knows James Baldwin was hard when it came to black folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "For a Negro, there's no difference between the North and South. There's just a difference in the way they castrate you. But the fact of the castration is the American fact." That was James Baldwin in "I Am Not Your Negro."
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another one from Malcolm X. He says, "If you are black, you were born in jail, in the North as well as the South. Stop talking about the South. As long as you south of the Canadian border, you South." That was Brother Malcolm from the speech, "The Ballad on the Bullet."
Right.
And, the thing about this book and, what my man's laying out, the blueprint, all of our discussions, man, about unity and us being able to be self-sufficient. It's just interesting, man, that Brother Malcolm and James Baldwin, we're talking, this is the 1950s and 60s when they were saying these things, right? So basically in 60 something years, man, we still have not unified. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong. I just know that there's a lot of us out here with great ideas, talking and all that. But there's really no unity,
That's
right?
right.
We have
Mm-hmm.
all these separate organizations
Mm-hmm.
that all have their thing, right? Got the sororities and the fraternities, got the churches, you got all the civil rights organizations, what have you, right? You got people that are alumni at certain schools.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you now, like I said, I just put it out here in the air. What's so hard, bro, about just sitting down, having a discussion about a common goal? And I'm not talking about burn the world down. Just come together, work with each other,
That's right.
right? That's a simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, before we came out here, we were talking about all of us have a circle.
Mm-hmm.
You have people you know. Most of us probably know a doctor, someone in the legal profession, someone in banking, a few friends that may be handy people,
Mm-hmm.
craftsmen of some sort.
All right.
But do we ever think about bringing that together as a collective to
Nope.
turn your community or your neighborhood into a self-sufficient neighborhood?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Give me some insight, brother.
Well, I say this, that condition is alive and healthy. and that condition is self-hate. I mean, like you said, this has been taught for over 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
The self-hate that has been taught to us, and it's just been passed down through generation, where it's on autopilot. They don't have to do anything any longer. So just think about the color wheel in Black America. You know, dark versus light, thick lips versus wide nose. You know what I mean? And this is within our own community. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
others talking to us like that. I'm talking about
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
right? This is how we
Mm-hmm.
identify with each other. So they've already done the work and they indoctrinated it into our everyday thinking, doing. Our whole thought process is based on what they taught us. And some of us, thankful that we broke that chain,
Mm-hmm.
right, to a certain degree, and we want to
Yeah.
pull back and bring as many along as possible.
Yeah.
But that's the tug of war that we face every day. Is that we want to see more melanated people that look like us, especially first and foremost our own families,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Our own families
Mm-hmm.
sometimes will go astray for whatever reasons that may be,
Yeah.
right? And it's just hard to bring together us without a hidden agenda to say, guess what? Come over to the crib. I'm going to invite some other people over, and we're going to talk about a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
What your craft is.
Yeah.
How can we incorporate your craft with the people at large,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no one at the helm. There's no one getting compensated behind closed doors. Like we
Yeah.
stated, a community could grow everything that we know that we buy unconditionally at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And we keep saying, man, grocery bill is crazy, it's high, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we got seeds.
Yeah.
We can grow inside. We can grow outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, your profession. Everybody need electrician.
Yeah.
Everybody need electrician.
Mm-hmm.
My profession is a couple different professions. I'm in banking, so I know money pretty well. And
Mm-hmm.
I damn sure know what kind of herbs and minerals someone should take if they want to be healthy.
Yeah.
So everyone that we could bring to this meeting, table,
Mm-hmm.
get together, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
you know, would be have that opportunity to present what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully, it could start there. But I would also say this. It would be great if we did something like that, but we would have to have the kids there as well.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because too many times our community, the ones that do learn, we learn late,
Yeah.
from trial and error. We had to, fall 1,000 times, a lot of different things. But these other communities, they teaching their kids from the child,
Yeah.
the Asian community, the East Indian community, the Spanish community. They're teaching their children, okay, these different things that they inherit and they take on along their journey of life. We're like on an island by ourselves. It seems like a lot of times. I may know something, but I don't want to pass it down. I want to keep it a secret. I'm trying to hold on to it. I don't think he's old enough or she's not old enough. She or he's not mature enough.
Yeah.
These things are insane, man. When you think about it, and we wondering why our kids are going astray. They're on all these different meds because they can't concentrate. I mean, they're looking to other groups to hopefully groom them into being something that we know is not really what they should be.
Mm-hmm.
So the pie is so vast and wide of all the things that we need to do to come together. They're telling you each and every day, you ain't got nobody but yourself, pretty much.
Yeah.
And other groups are moving right along just as smooth as can be
Mm-hmm.
because they got unity,
Yeah.
they got support.
And,
They-
and and think about what you just said right there, right? If you are paying attention, watching mainstream media, the people you see on there kind of moaning and groaning about Trump are either people of color or the Europeans,
Mhm.
right? You don't see the East Indians.
Mm-mm.
You don't see the Asians.
Mm-mm.
As much as the Hispanics are being tracked for ICE, because you know they're going to put a lot of them people out, but you don't see them publicly,
Mm-mm.
right? And what I've seen in them, as well as you have, they work together. They help people with gainful employment,
Mm-hmm.
right? They will share a home with several family members versus renting out several apartments. You know, I was listening to a little clip from my man Killer Mike the other day, and a little clip on TikTok. He was talking about instead of two or three friends, buddies, partners, or even family members all renting apartments, market rate, let's say he used about $1,500. So if you got two partners and y'all are spending $4,500 a month,
Mm-hmm.
you say you better off buying a house with 3 or 4 bedrooms in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? The house going to have some equity in it, with the intent 2, 3 years from now, partner number two moves out to his own crib,
Mm-hmm.
and the other two guys left behind, they split it.
Mm-hmm.
Then one of them bails out. Now everybody got a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you throwing away $4,500 a month between three people
Right.
that you'll never see any equity on,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't, for some strange reason, understand. And you hit every year in Kwanzaa. This is one of the Kwanzaa principles: cooperative economics,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you live in a community, in your community, and this is typical of most urban neighborhoods of color, most of your shop and store owners are not the people from the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm. Right.
right? I don't dislike anybody that opens up an honest business,
Mm-hmm.
but and this is something that Brother Malcolm spoke on 50, 60 years ago because it was the same thing. How can the corner store in your neighborhood, where you do most of your everyday shopping for whatever it is, right? And there's quite a bit of money spent in it. How can you not have someone from your neighborhood own that store?
Mm-hmm.
Just don't make no sense, right? And what he said, me and you, right? You've been in business long enough to do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Could you set up shop? And your product, I know, is health, but could you literally, as the owner, set up shop in a neighborhood that doesn't look like you? Do you think your business would survive?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, I would, if it did, it would be a lot of pushback,
Right,
right? I would probably have to have someone that doesn't look like me in the store,
right,
right?
right,
I couldn't be known as the owner of that
right,
store,
right. You would have
you
to
know?
manipulate
Yeah,
your ownership.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
But,
say that to say, not because I say that to say this: we're the only ones that allow other people
mm-hmm.
to come and serve us things that we can serve ourselves,
Right.
right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
all I'm getting at is that, not to be discriminatory, but these groups will not allow you to come in and be super successful. I'm saying within the community. I'm not saying like your business on the outside, your customer base is diverse.
Mm-hmm.
But if you set up shop,
Right.
brick and mortar,
Mm-hmm.
it will be difficult,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas we've got businesses that have been in our communities for over 70, 80, maybe 100 years, thriving. Where I'm
Mm-hmm.
from in Connecticut, in my particular neighborhood, the block I grew up on, there were several European businesses that, up until maybe a few years ago, I'm talking about at least a half a century, they were in that neighborhood with the corner bodegas, the little delis, you know what I'm saying? Little
Mm-hmm.
shops, liquor stores, which are having. And not upset at the people, but we're at a stage in our lives where we understand money better.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us have some type of portfolio to invest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is the barbershop, the hair salon, the nail salon should be owned by the people in the community. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. I say this. I just seen a video talking about this exact thing. Is that when you look at the average black community,
Mm-hmm.
and there may be a corner store, there may be a liquor store,
Yeah.
little stores. They said the average store in America
Mm-hmm.
that's in our black community,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if it's on the West Coast, Midwest, Deep South, or up north, the average store is averaging around $500,000 to $700,000 profit a year.
Mm.
A year.
Yeah.
So what they're doing, whether it be East Indians, Middle Eastern, Asian community,
Mm-hmm.
they're taking that money that they make, they go live 20, 30 minutes outside
Mm-hmm.
of the community.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, if that money that they're making, if their children don't want to continue on the family-owned business,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to school to be doctors,
Yeah.
lawyers,
Right.
or IT.
Right.
So they want them to go to the best schools. They already got the money to
Mm-hmm.
send them there
Yeah.
because they're making 5, 6, 700,000
Yeah.
a year, right? And we continue again. It's like, to me, it's like that cow, that big cow that's been behind that gate,
Yeah.
that little barbed wire, but
Mm-hmm.
could run free. But he's been conditioned to stay behind that barbed wire, even though you know in a little bit you're getting ready to get slaughtered,
Yeah.
but you're gonna stay behind that barbed wire.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than us.
Yeah.
We continue to go down that street, that block, that corner,
Mm-hmm.
into that convenience store. They treat you like you're subhuman. Okay, the food that they're serving or whatever you're buying in there is slowly killing you from a slow death
Yeah.
because the food is poison. But you've done it. Now your kids is doing it. Your grandkids is doing it. No one breaks the cycle. And we fault ourselves because when you know better, you're supposed to do better.
Right.
You know, this thing called technology today is no longer I got to pick up the phone and talk to someone and tell them what's going on.
Yeah.
You got your phone, you got computers, you got so many different gadgets that give you instant information instantly
Yeah.
about anything or any topic that you would like to discuss or even look up. But for us, we're talking about the same things. We're talking about cars, material things that we got to gain. We're talking about, we as men, we're talking about the women. Okay, the chasing a woman. We're talking about, okay, what somebody else did that you have no relationship whatsoever. They put that in front of us and we get beat down by talking about things of somebody else's business that has nothing to do with us. So we don't have time, or we don't even have a thought pattern to think about, wait a minute, Brother Phil, what you just mentioned, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Nobody never shared that with me, that I could grow something in my neighborhood and share this with my other neighbors.
Yeah.
We're having different types of conversation, and the conversations that the black family is normally having, it don't add up to too much anything that's positive for us to move forward.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, I agree, bro. That's why I said, man, this book here, The Devil You Know,
Hmm.
right? And it's a Black Power Manifesto. Brother just simply said, and I know people can grasp this, and of course, if you're not currently living in the South, you probably go, I'm not moving to the South, I'm not mad at you. But if you look at the other groups, when they migrate, because we migrated to the North, a lot of us tend to forget, me and my
Hmm.
brother here, I don't know if my family, pops, they came from the South, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying,
Right.
North Carolina. And when I'm doing my family tree research, and I'm looking at these old census reports, from the 1940s and 30s, it had everybody listed as a farmer,
Mm.
right? Which tends to allow me to understand without someone telling me, but just doing the research, all these people were kind of like sharecroppers,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Anybody knowing what sharecroppers were? Just poor black folks that these white folks let you stay on their land after they freed us just so you could survive,
Hmm.
right? Making no progress in life. But in my mind, I said, wow, the crazy thing was everybody was breaking their neck to get to the North to become factory workers.
Hmm.
Better pay,
Right.
better conditions, I get it. But what we lost in that migration is our ability to take care of ourselves.
Hmm.
Because right now, with everything that's going on, people are concerned about the prices of food, right?
Hmm.
Just think about it. If you grew what you would eat, you don't even need to go to the grocery. If you need the meats and stuff, right, you can raise your own cow, raise a pig if you want to eat it. That's up to you. Think
Hmm.
about it, right?
Yeah.
So what you and I were saying, and this is an idea that I've been, putting out in the universe, in a neighborhood, as we know, you can grow things in cups and bowls and pots,
Hmm.
right? Just the idea, just think about it, right? If you're in a subdivision and there's a homeowners association, right? You're the president of yours.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you discuss community issues, concerns, so on
Right.
and so forth. But just imagine a community of like-minded people. We all got these backyards with all the little pretty stuff in it. Somebody say, "Hey man, do a little 5 by 5, 10 by 10. You grow the onions, you do the potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
right? You do the cabbage, you do the greens.
Mm-hmm.
You plant an apple tree, you do a pear tree. It's going to take a few years. The fruit and vegetables, I mean, the vegetables, man, we can harvest them immediately, but them
Mm-hmm.
trees going to take a little minute, right?
Right. Right.
But just imagine that. Then you tell somebody, hey, man, you going to put a chicken coop
Mm-hmm.
in your yard because we're talking about these eggs.
Mm-hmm.
You do a chicken coop, man, you got your own eggs, fresh eggs.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds probably crazy to most people,
Yeah.
but it's really that easy.
It's crazy when you say that, brother. My neighbor,
Hmm.
Vietnamese,
Yeah.
right,
Hmm.
got maybe 50 different types of food, vegetables, and greens in his backyard.
Yeah.
Literally,
Hmm.
from New York.
Yeah.
He said, "Listen, the only time me and my wife go to the grocery store is for three things: paper products, they eat chicken,
Hmm.
and water."
Yeah. Wow.
So can you imagine how much money? And the crazy part about that, he has two daughters. They didn't move down here initially. When they moved down, he sold his businesses in New York.
Right.
When he moved down here, his two daughters stayed up in New York.
Yeah.
Now, as life brings on change,
Hmm.
his two daughters live in the house. One daughter has two kids. So now it went from just him and his wife to now um, two more adults and two kids,
Kids, yeah.
and it's still the same process. So
Hmm.
you know how things working out. He's like, Amir, we still doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and I see him every day. Every
Yeah.
morning he's outside, doing things
Tend to do his
for
garden.
his garden,
Yeah.
for how to harvest it, as the weather changes.
Yeah.
But he says he only goes to the grocery store for three things, and he's been doing this for 14 years.
Mm. I'm starting my trek now, man. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
I you know will make it there. Talked to my three boys yesterday. I had a nice conversation with them. Talked about this land purchase, man, to start our little family compound. But yeah, people out there just instead of getting caught up in the whirlwind of some of this foolishness, right? Because these people are gonna do what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we got to start fending and taking care of ourselves. You know what I mean? And then I know I'm an avid reader. My brother here is as well, so I know I'm super opinionated and got
Mm-hmm.
mad ideas. But
Right.
I'm a I'm a thinking man. We got to stop following these people like sheep
Mm-hmm.
and realize that they do not have your best interest in mind.
That's
Right?
right.
I don't hate anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm not just letting anybody lead me either.
That's right.
Right? My best interest has to be your best interest.
That's right.
That we have to be able to help each other. Right? If not, if you ain't bringing nothing to the table other than ideas and they're benefiting you, you just need my assistance to help you gain something. Yeah, I can't rock with that.
No,
You
no.
know what I'm saying? I have a branch on my family tree that I'm responsible for. I'm in the big chair now. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
was telling my sons, right? And that comes with a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So my job, that unfortunately my dad couldn't fulfill it because he didn't know. As I've gotten wiser and gained wisdom in life, there's a lot of aimless people out here,
Mm-hmm.
especially a lot of us men.
Yeah.
Right? I know some brothers won't like to admit it. You and I both, you can make all kinds of money. Money just gives you access to things.
That's all.
But if we sit down talking to a bunch of men, various income levels, now let's have this conversation like me and my man are having. What are you doing? Okay, you got millions of dollars. What you doing? If you
Mm-hmm.
just increasing your net worth and you got no ideas, you get ready to buy the yacht. And I'm not mad, but
Mm-hmm.
just think of how much you can do if you went out and said, man, people are looking for jobs. Do you know when we think traditional jobs, we're thinking go to work for somebody, punch a clock, get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought some land and started up a small farm, teaching people how to grow food, give them a place to live. Your money to do that. So it's an exchange for their labor.
Mm-hmm.
They get to eat. Not like, the sharecropper people were robbing us.
Mm-hmm.
But you can provide ample work for people tilling the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
and building your own home on the property.
That's what I'm getting at. And you don't
Yeah.
have to have these tiny homes.
Hmm.
Imagine you got a single person that unfortunately, whatever, life has put them at a point where it's just them. But this person's good with using, I don't know, a tiller. Right? That man, it go out, till and feed the plants and, do all the things he need to do. That's farming. You could do it right here within the city if you want.
Hmm.
Right? But we waiting for the government to provide us jobs. So we can go spend our money with them
Hmm.
and they ain't giving us nothing in return.
Right.
Yeah, we got to kill that.
Yeah. Again, it's that cow mentality.
Yeah.
Behind that barbed wire fence.
Mm-hmm.
They've conditioned us to the point where we're on autopilot and we don't even know it. And
Yeah.
and when you bring it to their attention, they become defensive
Yeah.
because they don't want to feel as though they're in that position or
Mm-hmm.
they're walking down in those shoes. And
Mm-hmm.
so many of us are.
Yeah. And something just came to my mind, just a little humor here. Right? I never thought I'd be a farmer in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get a little moniker, Phil's Farms. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Somebody said, "What do you do?" I'm a potato and tomato farmer.
Hmm.
I know it sounds nuts, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
being able to do something that you could bring to the table and you get other people to do it and you exchange it. That just, I wish somebody told me this, man, 40 years ago, man.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
And I guess it takes time in your life you gain this wisdom, but I know that if people had this conversation that me and you are having more frequently, man, we'll start being able to see the light.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It ain't helpless, man. You
yeah,
just gotta put in a little work. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
And you'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely see the benefits.
Yeah.
Until next time. Visit
Peace.
us at www.goldenmoringausa.com,
Mm-hmm.
www.goldenleafteas.com. Like, follow, and share.
Peace, y'all.